We all look in the mirror and we think we know ourselves. But what if I told you the reflection staring back is only a fraction of who you are? Beneath the surface, beneath the masks and the performances, there is a shape of self that no one sees, not even you. And the moment you discover it, everything changes. The reflection we see in the mirror is often taken at face value, but it is only a fraction of who we truly are. Most of us assume that what we see is our identity, the sum total of our being, when in reality, it is merely the surface, a version of ourselves shaped by expectations, roles, and appearances. The hidden self exists beneath the surface, obscured by masks we wear to navigate the world. From a young age, we are taught to perform, to be polite, competent, likable, and acceptable. We learn to silence parts of ourselves that might provoke criticism or make others uncomfortable. Over time, this repetition builds layers, and before we know it, we are looking at a reflection that tells us only what is socially acceptable, only what is safe, only what others want us to see. But the hidden self, the part that exists beneath all of this, is untouched by judgment, undiminished by expectation, and uniquely ours. Discovering the hidden self requires courage because it is in the act of looking inward that we confront both light and shadow. The hidden self is formed in quiet moments of decision, in the unseen acts of resilience, and in the choices we make when no one is watching. It's the part of us that continues to fight even when the world doubts us, that holds on to hope when circumstances feel hopeless, that whispers, "I am enough," when voices outside insist otherwise. It is not loud or performative. It is subtle, persistent, and enduring. Most importantly, it is authentic. While the version of ourselves presented to the world may shift to fit different circumstances, the hidden self remains a consistent thread, a compass guiding our true path. The hidden self is also a source of insight. It tells us where our passions lie, where our strength originates, and where our growth is necessary. It reveals the contours of our character, the motivations behind our choices, and the values that truly matter. When we learn to recognize this shape of self, we begin to understand that external validation is secondary. What matters is alignment with our own truth. We are no longer dependent on others' approval because we have discovered a deeper source of authority within ourselves. By acknowledging and engaging with the hidden self, we gain clarity about who we are and what we are capable of achieving. Yet, uncovering the hidden self is not a one-time act. It is an ongoing process. Life will constantly test us. And as we encounter challenges, our hidden self will evolve. It requires us to remain honest, reflective, and brave, especially when we are tempted to retreat into convenience or conformity. Each moment of self-reflection, each decision made in alignment with our inner truth sculpts the hidden self, gradually revealing a fuller, more authentic version of who we are meant to be. This process is not always comfortable. It demands confrontation with fear, failure, and vulnerability, but these are precisely the elements that forge strength and resilience. In the end, the hidden shape of self is not just a private truth, it is a source of power. It allows us to navigate the world with confidence, authenticity, and purpose. By connecting with this hidden self, we stop performing for others and begin living for ourselves. It is here, in the quiet acknowledgement of who we truly are beneath the surface, that we find freedom, clarity, and the ability to live a life defined not by expectation but by truth. The mirror may reflect only a fragment of our being, but when we seek what lies beneath, we discover the full, unshakable shape of self. The hidden self is forged in courage, in the quiet, unseen moments where we make choices despite fear, doubt, and uncertainty. While the world often rewards boldness that is loud and visible, the most powerful form of courage is the kind that exists when no one is watching. It is the inner resolve to act with integrity, to stay true to our values, and to continue moving forward even when the path is unclear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of it. The hidden self thrives in these moments, quietly shaping who we are, and ultimately who we become. Every decision made from this place of authenticity strengthens the foundation of our true identity, revealing a resilience that cannot be measured by outward success alone. Most people confuse courage with dramatic, high-profile acts. They believe bravery is visible, a grand gesture or a public confrontation. While such acts may require boldness, the hidden self's courage is subtler. It is in the quiet perseverance of daily life, speaking a truth that others avoid, admitting a mistake when it feels safer to hide it, setting boundaries even when it risks disappointing others, choosing growth over comfort. Each of these actions requires an inner strength that is unseen, uncelebrated, yet profoundly transformative. This form of courage molds character, builds integrity, and nurtures a sense of self that is grounded not in external recognition but in inner alignment. The hidden self also cultivates courage by forcing us to face uncomfortable truths about who we are. It asks us to confront our fears, insecurities, and limitations without flinching. Looking inward with honesty is rarely easy. Many avoid it because it threatens the illusion of control and safety. Yet, it is precisely this confrontation that strengthens the hidden self. By acknowledging our weaknesses and embracing our vulnerabilities, we gain the power to transform them into sources of strength. Courage, in this sense, is not a single act, but an ongoing practice of facing reality, however difficult, and choosing to act with authenticity and purpose. Moreover, the courage of the hidden self allows us to reclaim agency over our lives. When we act from fear, doubt, or the expectations of others, we hand over our power. But when we engage with the hidden self, we recognize that true authority lies within. Courage becomes the mechanism through which we define our own narrative. Each time we make a decision rooted in truth rather than convenience, each time we choose integrity over conformity, the hidden self grows stronger. It teaches us that we do not need external approval to validate our actions. The only approval that matters is our own, earned through honest, deliberate choices. Ultimately, courage is the lifeblood of the hidden self. It shapes us, defines us, and empowers us to live authentically. Without it, we remain superficial, constrained by fear and expectation. With it, we discover the depth, resilience, and untapped potential that lies beneath the surface. Courage transforms the hidden self from an abstract idea into a living, breathing force that guides our choices, informs our identity, and allows us to navigate life with purpose and confidence. By cultivating this inner courage, we unlock the hidden shape of self, revealing a version of ourselves that is unshakable, authentic, and profoundly powerful. Many people spend their lives avoiding the exploration of their inner selves because they fear what they might discover. The hidden self exists in the spaces we often overlook, in quiet reflection, in moments of solitude, and in the shadows of our comfort zones. Exploration of this hidden self is not always easy. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to confront the parts of ourselves that are uncomfortable or inconvenient. Most of us are trained to look outward for validation, guidance, and identity rather than inward for understanding and clarity. Yet the hidden self is the compass that can guide us to authenticity, purpose, and fulfillment if only we are willing to engage with it deeply. To explore the hidden self means to face the aspects of our personality and behavior that we have suppressed or ignored. It is easy to hide behind routines, distractions, or social expectations, convincing ourselves that we are fine while our inner world remains unexamined. But avoidance comes at a cost. It leaves us vulnerable to living a life that is reactive rather than intentional, shaped by external pressures rather than internal truth. When we take the time to look inward, however, we uncover the motivations behind our choices, the fears that hold us back, and the strengths we have neglected to recognize. The hidden self, once illuminated, becomes a guide that helps us navigate life with clarity and authenticity. Exploration of the hidden self also allows us to confront patterns that limit our growth. Many of us repeat behaviors, attitudes, or responses that serve outdated beliefs or unexamined fears. These patterns often feel automatic, as though they are simply who we are. Yet, when we pause to reflect and explore our inner landscape, we see these patterns for what they are: signals from the past, habits of thought or behavior that no longer serve our best selves. By engaging with the hidden self, we can question, reshape, and ultimately transform these patterns, creating space for growth, resilience, and deeper self-awareness. Moreover, exploring the hidden self nurtures self-compassion. When we face our inner truths without judgment, we begin to understand the complexity of our own humanity. We recognize that mistakes, vulnerabilities, and contradictions are not signs of weakness, but evidence of a life lived fully and honestly. The hidden self teaches us to treat ourselves with the same understanding we might extend to others, fostering a sense of inner safety and trust. This self-compassion is essential for living authentically because it allows us to make choices from a place of alignment rather than fear. Ultimately, the exploration of the hidden self is a journey of liberation. It frees us from the need to perform, to please, or to conform. It reveals the contours of our character, the depth of our values, and the unique strengths that define who we are at our core. When we commit to this inner exploration, we no longer live as fragments of someone else's expectations. We begin to live as whole, intentional, and powerful beings. The hidden self, once uncovered and embraced, becomes a lifelong guide, a source of clarity, strength, and authenticity that transforms not only the way we see ourselves, but the way we engage with the world. By exploring it, we step into a life defined by purpose and truth rather than fear and avoidance. The hidden self is not static, it is dynamic, constantly evolving as we navigate the experiences, challenges, and decisions that shape our lives. Many people mistakenly believe that who they are is fixed, that personality, values, and purpose are predetermined and unchanging. In reality, the hidden self is like clay, flexible, malleable, and capable of growth, but only if we engage with it consciously. Recognizing that the self is dynamic allows us to embrace change rather than resist it, to see every experience as an opportunity to refine our understanding of who we are and who we want to become. Understanding the dynamic nature of the hidden self requires intentional reflection. Life presents us with endless circumstances that test our beliefs, values, and limits. Some of these tests are small, subtle, and easily overlooked. Others are seismic, shaking us to our core. Each challenge reveals a facet of our hidden self that we may not have known existed. Resilience, creativity, courage, and empathy are often uncovered not in comfort but in discomfort. The dynamic self is constantly adapting, reshaping its contours based on these experiences and growing in complexity and depth. By remaining attentive to this inner evolution, we gain insight into our strengths, weaknesses, and potential, allowing us to navigate life with greater clarity and intention. The hidden self's dynamism also reminds us that identity is not tied to permanence or perfection. Too often, people resist growth because it requires acknowledging past mistakes or letting go of outdated versions of themselves. The hidden self, however, thrives in evolution. It encourages us to question old habits, outdated beliefs, and limiting narratives that no longer serve us. By embracing change, we allow the self to expand, integrating lessons learned and new perspectives. This ongoing process is not linear. It may involve setbacks, detours, and periods of uncertainty, yet every stage of evolution contributes to a fuller, more authentic self. Understanding this is liberating because it frees us from rigid expectations. We are never stuck or finished. We are always in the process of becoming. Engaging with the dynamic hidden self also deepens self-awareness. When we actively observe how we change in response to circumstances, we begin to recognize patterns, triggers, and sources of strength that previously went unnoticed. We see how fear, desire, and values interact to shape our decisions and reactions. This awareness provides us with choice. Instead of reacting automatically or conforming to external pressures, we can intentionally shape our growth and align our actions with our evolving self. The hidden self, when understood as fluid rather than fixed, becomes a powerful tool for personal development, guiding us toward authenticity and purpose. Ultimately, recognizing the hidden self as dynamic transforms the way we live. Life is no longer a rigid path to be navigated according to fixed rules. It becomes a canvas on which we actively shape our identity. Each decision, each reflection, and each adaptation contributes to the hidden contours of self, revealing a deeper understanding of who we are and who we can become. By embracing the dynamic nature of the hidden self, we cultivate resilience, adaptability, and authenticity. We learn that growth is not only inevitable but essential, and that the evolving self is our most powerful ally in creating a life of purpose, freedom, and true self-expression. The hidden self becomes most visible when we stop living for others and start living for ourselves. For much of our lives, we are conditioned to seek approval from parents, peers, teachers, colleagues, and society at large. We learn to measure our worth by how others perceive us, to mold our behaviors to fit expectations, and to suppress the parts of ourselves that might be judged or misunderstood. Over time, this creates a tension between the person we present to the world and the person we know ourselves to be internally. The hidden self, however, is the part of us that cannot be performed or fabricated. It exists independent of external validation, and it thrives when we finally give ourselves permission to be fully authentic. Living for ourselves does not mean selfishness, it means alignment. It means making decisions that reflect our values, desires, and truths rather than reacting to the expectations or opinions of others. When we act from this place, the hidden self comes alive. It is in these moments of alignment that we experience clarity, confidence, and a sense of purpose. The hidden self is not a separate entity. It is the authentic core of who we are, and it requires that we listen to it, respect it, and act in accordance with it. The more we honor this inner truth, the less we are swayed by external pressures, and the more fully we can inhabit our lives. The process of living for ourselves begins with awareness. We must recognize when our actions are motivated by fear, guilt, or a desire for approval. Often, we do things because we should or because others expect it without even realizing the cumulative toll it takes on our sense of self. But by pausing and examining our intentions, we create space to act from authenticity rather than obligation. The hidden self responds to this awareness with empowerment. It encourages us to reclaim agency over our choices, to set boundaries, and to prioritize what genuinely matters. Every time we make a decision rooted in our own truth, we strengthen the connection to the hidden self and cultivate resilience against external judgment. Living for ourselves also involves embracing vulnerability. To fully honor the hidden self, we must be willing to confront discomfort, rejection, and uncertainty. Authenticity often challenges the norms and expectations around us, and it can provoke resistance or criticism. Yet, vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a signal that we are stepping to alignment with our inner truth. The hidden self grows stronger each time we choose honesty over conformity, courage over comfort, and presence over performance. It teaches us that the approval we have been seeking externally is always secondary to the approval we give ourselves internally. Ultimately, the hidden self reveals itself when we prioritize our own alignment and authenticity above all else. By living for ourselves, we break free from the invisible chains of expectation and performativity, and we step fully into our power. The mirror, once a place of comparison and judgment, becomes a reflection of truth, not of perfection, but of authenticity. When we embrace the hidden self in this way, we cultivate a life that is intentional, purposeful, and deeply satisfying. Living for ourselves allows us to experience freedom, clarity, and strength, and it ensures that the person we present to the world is no longer a mask, but the truest, most powerful version of who we are.